Today I'm going to talk to you about what I hate from going from influencer to founder.
Hi guys, it's PatrickStarrr. Welcome back to my channel.
I've been on YouTube for over a decade, and for most of that time, I had one of the best jobs in the world. I got to do what I love every single day: pick up a brush, turn on a camera, and share something with people who actually cared. I got invited to the most incredible trips, collaborate with people I admired, and I could shout out any brand I loved and mean it. No strings, no politics, just genuine excitement. Being a beauty influencer gave me everything: a community, a voice, a job, and a life I never could imagine growing up. And then I decided to build something on my own. I launched One Size in 2020 in the middle of a pandemic, and everything changed. Not the business, not the schedule, my life. You all get to see the products on the shelves, you see it in Sephora, and you see a version of this that looks like a dream. But there are parts of this that I actually hate. And I've never really said that out loud. So let me tell you what no one tells you about going from influencer to founder. Okay, so today's video is going to be interesting. I'm going to be talking through what I hate, and I'm also going to be getting ready for a founder event. So I thought while I'm in this mindset, I would talk to you guys about what it costs to live this dream, because every dream has its price. And I want to let you guys know this isn't going to be a complaining video. It is more of a honest one. And you know what? I realized it's been 6 years. It's 2026, and we launched the brand in the pandemic in 2020, and I've learned a lot. So 6 years into being a founder, I feel like I'm finally finding my footing, finding my backbone of what it means to be a founder. So for anybody that is interested of my life and how I'm grasping it, or an influencer or a beauty lover or a fellow entrepreneur out there, I think this will be really insightful for anyone going through anything, transitions, life changes. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So the first thing that I noticed from being influencer to founder is how people see you. So I remember in 2015 when I was an influencer that in 1 month I did 2 trips to Hawaii in the same month, one with Benefit, one with Tarte. I even went on Tarte's very first trip in with Tarte, where we got to go to Bora Bora, and it was just a different time with being a creator for me. I know that it's very relevant to creators now to do brand trips, and it's been a normal thing, but number one, I kind of feel old, and number two, it was just something so new. And what I realized is that you can shout out any brands. You can talk. I was talking about Ole Henriksen, NARS, MAC, Benefit, Too Faced, NYX Cosmetics. I was in the NYX Face Awards where I was competing to be the NYX Face Awards winner. What a time. And honestly, there was just no strings attached. And as a founder now, every room reads and treats you differently. I remember when I first launched the brand, it was the same year. There were 3 brands. There was Makeup by Mario, One Size, and Rare Beauty. And I remember receiving a PR from Rare Beauty, and I was like, let me just do a review. I was in an influencer mindset, and it got a lot of heat because I failed to realize that I was a founder reviewing another brand. And I was like, oh no, this is what I would normally do, but that's just something that I had to quickly learn. There was articles, it was in the press, Patrick bashes, so whatever it was, it wasn't like my intention, and that's something that I had to learn very, very quickly. And I was emotional about it because I didn't know how to handle that transition when we launched, especially in the pandemic, because it was something that was so niche, influencer turned founder, and I didn't really have any peers to kind of like learn from or acknowledge from, especially launching alongside Rare and Mario in Sephora. And now One Size has become such a large brand, bigger than me, bigger than what I could ever have dreamed of. And it's been the biggest shift. So either I'm too much of an influencer for business, or I'm too much of a founder for creators. And that's like a balance that I'm just having to learn. So with that being said, I used to walk into every room as PatrickStarrr, the influencer. Now I walk into every room as PatrickStarrr, the founder of One Size. And those are 2 very different people with different receptions. And then there's the creative side. So as an influencer, it was like so iconic back in the day. And I had brand deals, I had collaborations, and one of my most notable ones for me in my influencer career was like MAC. And I created 5 collections with MAC. That was such a whirlwind. The way that I was able to like creatively express myself was through music videos, through campaigns, and it was just such a time. Also, the transformations were so iconic. I did a genie, I did prosthetics, I was doing drag transformations and lip syncs, and it was like such a whole fantasy as a creator because I can express myself at any given moment in time. So if you wanted to make something, you can think of it right now and make it tomorrow. And as a founder, every idea has to survive a P&L conversation, a development cycle, and also a retail timeline. So a creator's timeline is now, and a founder's is like 18 months out. Did you guys know we plan like a year and a half? We try to strive for 2 years in advance. Like, that's crazy. I also want to mention launching in 2020 forced compromise from day one, and you never really got like a clean start. I will say like my passion is still there, but there's a filter between your gut and the shelf and what you're putting out there as a brand founder with product. So if you at home watching love instant gratification, creating on the fly, like maybe this creator life is for you. But if you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to be a founder, you really have to sacrifice the creator freedom and really think about planning out. And that was really, really hard for me. But I will say the hardest sacrifice isn't the product, it's the people. So let's talk about people. Let's talk about relationships. You guys know I was in so many friendships and collaborations from like Manny, Nikita. I had a show with Laura Lee called Brenda and Shirley Show. That was like so crazy. I've even collabed with like Nima Tang, Shalom Black. Oh, I remember even with Shalom, like she helped me reveal my bald head because I was so insecure about me losing my hair, and I know she was also bald. So I said, can you like reveal it with me? And it's like a viral meme today, like so crazy. So as an influencer, like relationships are like uncomplicated. Like there's no competition and creators are just being creators. And as a founder now, some of my peers also have their own brands too. And life is just lifing, and we are just growing into like the new versions of ourselves. Some are having babies, starting families, moving. The idea of growing into the next phase or chapter of your life is not us growing apart. It's just us evolving. As we evolve, and as you evolve, you just obtain like new responsibilities and you inherit them. And so you have to realize in order to have a next chapter of your life to be so successful, you have to put in extraordinary work if you want like extraordinary results. What I will say is that nobody warns you about how lonely being a founder is. And that's what I hate. No matter how many people that surround you that love you. And then there's one thing you can't get back. So I don't know how long you guys have been following me, but before I moved into this house, I had 2 apartments in one building. And a few creators were also doing this at the time where they would have one for living and then one for filming, just because for collaborations and storage and the amount of makeup. And you know, my setup was so extravagant. We called it like the cage, where it was kind of like these PVC pipes holding all my lights. And it was such a fantasy to have, you know, work just a floor below my living apartment, and it saved a lot of time. So what we had was a 2-story apartment where we would film downstairs. There was an editing office or editing bay upstairs. We would go and edit, also do my voiceovers. And it was really cool because I can just go to work and then go right up to my living apartment and just live. And it was cool not for just me, but for like my team, where we saved a lot of time. And I loved it because we were just able to switch off our brains right away. So as an influencer, you filmed, edited, posted, and then you could just live your life and time was yours. But as a founder, you're running a media company, a beauty brand, and a personal brand simultaneously. Being a content creator went from being the job to being one of 5 jobs. So there is something called the opportunity cost, where if you want to do one opportunity, it's at the cost of another. And I realized something that you want to do is the other thing is going to get less of you. So I knew if I wanted to be a founder and be the best founder that I could be, I had to be, I guess, in a sense, less of an influencer. And that's just the sacrifice that it takes. And that's something that I hated and I hate today because you sacrifice so many things, relationship, time, creative freedom, and you just have to accept it if it's something that you really want. So after everything I said, why do I keep doing this? I remember the first time I saw one size in Sephora, like physically standing in the store, and I remember launching the brand and I cried with my brother. And recently, someone posted a video of themselves in labor, like about to give birth, and they were using Until Dawn on their face, about to have a baby, and they wanted to make sure that their makeup was set right. And that's the thing, it's actually not a brand moment, it's not a marketing win. It's a real person and one of the most real moments of their life choosing something I helped make. And that made me proud in the best way. And I think that's the answer. You know, although I hate parts of this and I meant it, the identity, the creative, the relationships, the time, it's all complicated and I'm not taking any of that back. But I will say that the trade-off is worth it. Not because it's easy, but because it's mine. At the end of the day, I have to recognize that I'm building this. I built it through a pandemic, through doubt, through imposter syndrome, through every meeting where someone looked at me and said, can a beauty influencer actually do this? And you know what? I'm still here. The brand is still here. It's a global brand all over North America and Europe with a team that's willing to show up every single day and a community like all of you that's been with me for over a decade. And you know what? I'm just getting started. So if you're watching this and you're thinking about making the jump from creator to founder, from dreaming about it to actually doing it, don't let anyone tell you it's not worth it. But don't let anyone tell you it's easy either. Makeup is a one size fits all. And so is the dream if you're willing to pay for it.